So Thomas came to us last August. He had been trapped as part of a community cat program and determined to be friendly, and he was taken to another clinic where he was diagnosed with entropion, which is a condition where the eyelids roll in and rub on the corneas, and FIV. So they turned him into our shelter so that we could fix his eyes and adopt him out. We had him for just a week or two while we were treating his eyes because they were very infected, they were very irritated, and the staff noticed that he was drinking a lot of water and urinating a lot. So we ran some baseline blood work and discovered that he was diabetic. At that point, we started him on insulin at Orlando, and shortly thereafter, unfortunately, the fire happened, and he was safe because he was in the back of the facility, but he was transferred to Stanford, as all of our animals were, and we decided then that it would be best to put him in a foster home to treat the diabetes until we could adopt him out.
Typical day with Thomas is he starts to play at 3 o'clock in the morning and wakes me up. So I usually ignore him at 3 o'clock in the morning because I don't want to encourage that behavior. He has a very strict routine where he gets his insulin every 12 hours. So he gets fed every 12 hours. And let me tell you, when that 12 hours is up, he lets me know quite loudly that he's ready for some food. I come in and I sit and I read with him and have my first cup of coffee with him. He's a very happy boy and we just love spending time together. Thomas has changed my life in the fact that he just brings a lot of joy to me. He is a senior boy, so he's 9 years old. So his personality is fully formed and he is very happy-go-lucky. And having him be FIV positive, it kind of opened my eyes to just how normal of a life those cats can have. And he's just a pleasure to have.
So I've worked at the Pet Alliance for a long time now, for 21 years. I started in the public clinic, but I did see a lot of shelter animals for post-adoption checkups, or I occasionally worked back in the shelter. At that point, probably for the first 10 to 12 years, they had just part-time veterinarians work back in the shelter that did primarily surgery and treated some simple skin problems, GI problems, but we really weren't able to provide long-term care for things like diabetes or even infectious diseases like mange were not treated, parvo. None of those things were possible years ago. So we've really been able to expand what we can do for animals now that we have a full-time medical team in the shelter. With diabetes, while it's a little bit challenging to treat in the shelter, we've found that people are willing to adopt animals with problems.
If it wasn't for Pet Alliance, I don't believe Thomas would be here today. The Pet Alliance has the opportunity through generous donations and funding to get Thomas the medical attention that he needed and give him as much time as possible to be able to recover from those conditions.
Sheba came into our care in late 2021, and when dogs come into our shelters, we do a standard blood test on everyone over 6 months old. So we did that on her and found that she was heartworm positive. That is a treatable condition. It can be fatal if left untreated, but it is treatable, and we do treat it to make sure that these dogs can go into their new lives as healthy as they can be. So no big deal there. So she settled in and our vets immediately started her on those treatments.
The Sheba came to us about more than 1 year ago. And in that time, Sheba had a history of according to previous owner, hit by car. She was hit by car and the back side was injured. So when she came in here, already presented for this back leg issues. What's happened is this back leg, for example, knee injuries, they call it cranial cruciate ligament injuries, that causing long-term instabilities for the knees, and that causing for the osteoarthritis, and they became long-term suffer and the pain, and without long-term medication, she might have a long-term pains. We couldn't do any orthopedics operation here, so Helping Hand Vet Clinic in Orlando, they provide us their professional orthopedics service for us, for Sheba. And then she's doing very good. She's recovering right now.
After all the dogs came to the Sanford shelter after the fire, we watched a lot of them get adopted very quickly, which was amazing. But in all of that, Sheba stayed here, and Sheba has been here. So those of us that have been here along with her on this ride have gotten really close to her, because she is kind of what we have left of the Orlando shelter. And she's been an immense comfort to me, and I know many of our Orlando staff members through this whole big new adjustment process. My favorite thing about Sheba that she does is if you're petting her, she'll be super still. She'll just sit next to you or lie down. But the moment you stop or move your hand away, she looks at you like, "Why did you do that?" and asks for more. She'll nudge you, she'll lick your face until you start petting her again. And then she goes right back to just kind of that chill, zoned out, like receiving pets Sheba personality that she has. If it wasn't for Pet Alliance, Sheba would not have had the time that she has had to recover from these illnesses and to find her perfect adopters. And the ability to care for dogs like Sheba comes from the resources that the community has given us, and we're very grateful for that.
So I'm really excited about our future, and I'm excited about having a new facility where we can have some more diagnostics, and hopefully, as awareness of pet needs are expanding, more donations to help treat more animals. There's a lot more that we can do, and there are a lot more animals that we can place in homes, because people aren't just looking for that perfect puppy or kitten. Many people are willing to take on animals that have some special needs if they have the means to do so. But if we can do more to get them on the road to success, start them out, get them diagnosed, even perhaps consult with a specialist if we can develop a good relationship, then I think that we can do so much more for the animals in our community.